Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back, or for the very first time, to the Farts and Craps Show, where I'm going to be your fix-it host for this video, Danjo McCraps. And just to clarify real quick, guys, I'm going to be doing the fix first, explaining all the steps as quickly as possible, and doing the deep dive at the end. So if you're just here for the fix, let me first just do a internet connection test to verify this actually did work. I know it did because I've done a couple tests since. And the 5G on that name, this is a 5 gigahertz connection that it is using right now. I know not the best performance. That's my ISP. They kind of suck. But yeah, I saw some people saying that 2.4 only works on the latest PS4 Pro model. That is incorrect because that is the model I have. And 5 gigahertz works just fine. So let's get to the steps. Okay, I'm going to explain each one of these as best as I can. So the first step you want to do is power cycle your modem / router and your PS4. Essentially, power them both down, and with your PS4, unplug the power cable from the back of the system and just kind of leave everything unplugged for a little while, like 5 or 10 minutes. And once that is done, plug that back in, make sure the power cable is sitting firmly in the back. That has been a problem in the past for previous PS4 Pro models. I don't know if that's still a problem or if that's possibly part of the reason they changed the plug in the back of the PS4 Pro. That is very possible. But essentially you're going to want to press and hold the power button until you hear a second beep, and then let go of that. And it's going to pull up basically safe mode for your system. Now this worked on the PlayStation 3 and the PS Vita and the PS TV, and they've always had a fifth option there that says rebuild database. In fact, when I was making this image, I wanted it to look like that screen. So if your screen looks kind of like my screen, you're in the right spot, and you want to choose rebuild database. Once you do that, it is going to essentially defrag your hard drive and kind of reorganize and optimize, as they say, prioritize and organize the system files. It's kind of like the system file checker built into Windows. That should only take a few minutes, and then when your PS4 restarts, you're going to want to connect to the internet using a different method. Essentially, the quick and easy way to do this is just to use a little bit of your hotspot data. If you don't pay already, if it's not already part of your mobile plan, like on your cell phone, you can usually just enable the hotspot and then use a little bit, and then you'll be charged based on how much bandwidth you used. For this entire process, it should only take about a megabit, if that. It's a very small amount of data. So you go to your system settings, you go to your network, you go to set up that network connection and choose whatever your phone's hotspot is. Just do the easy connection, it really doesn't matter. And as soon as you're done, actually I'll pull this up for you real quick. So once you're done in there, you go to account management, and then it's going to have you sign into PSN. So you put in your email address, your password, and then hopefully your verification code for your two-step authentication thing. And once you sign in, change something under account management. So for whatever reason, however things are handled over on PlayStation Network and with Sony in general with accounts, just change a preference somewhere on there. If you like all of your things, you can even change your gender preference. So if you indicated male or female at one point, you can actually rescind that and just say, no, I'm not going to identify with a gender. That'll do it. So after you're done with that, go ahead, back out of account management, out of settings, and just shut down your PS4 and go ahead and turn off that mobile hotspot. So that, like I said, that whole process doesn't take much data at all, maybe a megabit. So if you don't have hotspot data as part of your plan, they should hopefully just charge you based on usage. And just using a tiny bit like that shouldn't cost you very much at all. So after that, you're going to want to power on your modem and your router and wait for the reconnect. Hopefully this is at least 10 or 15 minutes later from when you powered it down. If you're still having connection issues with like another device and it's just like slower than usual or something like that, you may have to call your ISP and get a reset signal. This is a fairly common thing and one of the first things most internet service providers will do if you're having internet problems, just as a first troubleshooting step. But it is very important, especially if you're on cable or DSL, like most broadband internet connections. So, and once all those indicator lights are back to normal, power on your PS4 again and navigate to your network settings. And essentially what you're going to want to do is just go into setup internet connection and then go to custom instead of easy. LAN or Wi-Fi, it really doesn't matter. Just go to custom, because if you go to easy, it might pull up your previous. In fact, I think it always does, but go to custom because easy will pull up your previous connection settings. And considering it's probably going to be looking for that hotspot, it's not going to find it, it's going to fail, you're going to have to, it's going to send you through some steps anyway. Even if you go through custom, it's not that difficult. You don't have to have a bunch of information written down about your subnet mask and your static IP or DNS settings. You can still go automatic on all of those, so no worries there. And then once you have everything set in, make sure unless you, in the rare case where you do use a proxy server setting, just no proxy. MTU should be roughly 1500. Just all of those things. If it doesn't sound familiar, just say don't use or automatic, and it should be reconnected after that point. And then you might have to sign back in again, but it should remember your login information from when you did that on your hotspot. If not, do the sign in again. I think part of why this is an issue... Oh wait, no, I have a few more to go. Never mind. If none of those things work, you can always go down to initialization and restore your default settings. This is going to remove all of this information off of your device, except for the things that are stored to your account. You'll have to sign back in, but things like it says share features, things like your friends. Essentially, if you've linked your PlayStation account to another account, or your PlayStation account is handling, it handles most of the social features. So when you sign back in, those should all come back up. Or if you're wondering about signing into certain services like YouTube and things like that, I haven't touched that, but as you can see, there's friend things over there. And I didn't have to reset that back up. So it's just going to delete the small amount of information that is stored on the system, not necessarily going to wipe it from existence. But still, for some people, that's still a lot of settings. But yeah, if the previous steps didn't work, throw that in there as well. And then hopefully that did it for you. It did it for me. I did a couple hours of troubleshooting. I had probably like I had this issue started like 5 hours ago, maybe 6 hours ago. Just got it fixed about an hour ago. So I've been, but then I thought, I should just like make a video about this because I couldn't find one place that had like a definitive fix that had all of the information like together. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's this one thing. Switch to 2.4 gigahertz. That should do it for you. Switch to the Google public DNS. That should do it for you. I don't think it's any of those things. I think it's more on PlayStation's side with PlayStation Network, how they deal with, well, how they've designed the recent firmware. So as you can see, it's not a firmware update because sometimes they'll be like, oh, you have been signed out and blah blah. You actually have to update the firmware for your console, for your PS4. I don't know why I said console as a generic catch-all. This is PS4 specific. Because I wasn't having issues connecting to the internet on my Switch or my tablet or my PC. Like, nothing else was the problem. It was just my PS4. And I think part of the reason, and I'm going to get to some other cool stuff like little Easter eggs here at the very end that are also related to system firmware right now. But I think the other reason this has been happening is actually because Sony is getting update 8.0 ready, and one of the things that they're going to be including is support for authenticator apps such as Google Authenticator, because as of right now with two-step verification, essentially they will send you an SMS message with a verification code to sign in. So you have to still put in your email address, your password, and then after you do that, you still have to punch in that code, which they will send you. This method is okay, but to take that security another step further is to use authenticator apps. So again, they just rolled out this beta, or they're going to be rolling out this beta soon. As you can see, this is a couple days old. Like, the post date here this is going up, well, probably tomorrow, honestly, or at the end of today, but probably tomorrow. So the 28th is going to be the publish date. The publish date on this article is the 24th, and they're sending out invites now. So some people may have it installed right now, but it's a beta version of this 8.0 firmware. And honestly, I've never had this issue to this extent before. But I have had similar issues in the past when there have been system software updates. So it's just usually I go through some of these steps, not necessarily all of these steps. But yeah, if you follow them in order, that's essentially what I did. It fixed my problem. And yeah, I hope that helped. And last thing here I wanted to point out, they added this in accessibility like fairly recently. People were so excited when this was added to the Switch. But now, if you go into accessibility, you can actually have custom button assignments, which is so cool. So you can change your button mapping. So if you have your favorite controller, like I definitely have a couple favorites, but you don't like how one thing is mapped, like maybe like you're playing Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, and R3 is your focus and L3 is your run. You can change that to something else, which is really cool because that game does not support like button mapping options within the game. So now you can do it on a system level. Or if you wanted to feel more like the Japanese layout, you can change it so circle is confirm and cross is back, or X, depending on, some people still say X. It is cross. I've always said X, but it is cross, I guess. So, anyways, guys, that's all the information I have for you, because that is literally all I know on this subject, but it did fix my problem. If you guys also have a fix, go ahead and have a discussion down there in the comment section. I'm not going to be fielding questions on this one, because literally I put all my knowledge on the table, and I don't have anything to add. But yeah, I still moderate every comment that comes in, so keep it positive. If you have suggestions of your own, feel free to post them down there, and maybe I'll see you guys in a future episode. But if this is your first time here on the Farts and Craft Show, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a beautiful day.